You are in the temple of the rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Not Grand, who wants me to rant about the rise in early access games. Early access is where you get to play a game before it's fully completed. A lot of the time, that you're encouraged to sort of send back data to the developers to help with the game, achieving completion. You're basically like paying to be a bug tester of a game, assuming that they make you pay for it. I mean, ultimately, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. It just comes down to you as a consumer making an informed decision about the game you're buying. Like, if a game says it's in early access and you pay for it, you have no right to complain at all. Like, you have paid money for something that was incomplete knowingly. I think a lot of people complain about how games will get trapped in early access forever, how the developers might become complacent because they start getting the money. I mean, you have to understand, this is something that, like, I think generally is difficult to understand for people who don't create things, is that I'm not going to say most, but like a really huge amount of everything that is attempted to be created does not get created. Like, the vast majority of scripts, for instance, are going to go in the trash. The vast majority of scripts that even have been bought, like if we're talking about, like, say, the world of TV, there are shows that are at all times being bought by networks, greenlit for production, have pilot episodes made, maybe even have a whole season made, and then just get thrown in the trash because they decide to broadcast something else instead. Because each of these networks has a limited amount of programming, and they just stick with whatever they think is going to work. And they'll throw a lot of money at something only to just kill it if they think, we'll just eat the sunk cost because this other thing will be more profitable. And so I'm sure that in the world of gaming, for instance, there are probably fuckloads of games that would be super exciting and super interesting, and they never even make it to the point where they get announced because they don't work out. And so when it comes to early access games, it's sort of like, if you go into it with the understanding that there's a chance this game won't be completed, like, I think you need to know that when you decide to, like, buy into a game that's not done yet. It's like, it's until it's done, it's not done. Like, you can't put your faith in the idea that it's automatically going to be finished. Now, if you buy into it on the hopes that you're contributing to its ability to be finished, and then you're let down when it doesn't come out, maybe don't support that developer again. Maybe don't put your money there. But, like, you have to recognize this as an investment. The same thing goes with, like, Kickstarter and stuff like that. It's like, you are not guaranteeing a product by putting money into it, even if it does make its goal, even if it makes 6 times its goal, because the people who are making it might not know what they're doing. And, even if they do know what they're doing, things might go wrong. It's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. And there's so many dipshit producers who, the more money they get, the more features they try to add, which is just wrong-headed, because you have to appreciate that everything you do multiplies the overall cost considerably, and you also need to have extra money for fallback. Like, for instance, I'm one of these dipshits. When I did the Radcon 2 Kickstarter, I based the amount that we asked for on the, like, absolute minimum cost of everything. It was like, this is the minimum amount of money needed to fly everybody in, get the DVDs made, pay, like, asking prices to, Ben to do, like, artwork and everything. Like, I based everything on this minimum cost. Everything went over cost because things go wrong. Like, maybe the plane ticket prices increased by the time everybody gets around to buying them, or I didn't account for paying for gas, while I have to drive people around all weekend, or all week, rather. Like, I don't account for these extra things that are going to come up, or ways that time is going to be managed differently, or the cost of, say, oh, you have to upload everything to Google Drive, well, you better pay for more drive storage. It's just like, there's a lot of small costs that you don't account for, and then suddenly, if you don't have the money to to do the thing, well, now you can't do it, you know, if you didn't leave yourself enough left. So it's just like everybody needs to appreciate that you're taking a risk when you contribute to something that is incomplete. It is different from buying a product. And I think as long as you make informed decisions about your purchases, you will never be bitten in the ass by this kind of thing. As long as you go into buying an early access game knowing that it's possibly never going to be completed, or possibly, is not in a state where it's really going to be fun, then you won't be let down when that eventually happens. Personally, I would never buy an early access game. Like, I would not pay for a product that is not there. When it comes to like backing Kickstarters, I'm only going to do it if it's someone I really trust to do it. And even then, like, I'm not going to count on it to become real, just because I know the way creative projects are. Shit goes wrong all the time. Maybe even just you lose interest because it wasn't as good of an idea as you thought it was, and over the course of creating it, it just becomes a bigger pain in the ass than it's worth. An incomplete project is an incomplete project until the day it's complete.